Renaissance and then the medieval, and say what they thought they might see or how they believed they might feel about the world around them. Responses to the Renaissance, recorded verbatim by the museum, were bounteous. People seemed genuinely contented, filled with a happy wonder. "I'm in Florence, walking by the river at midday. It's peaceful, I'm smiling. I'm an artist's model, and he's sculpting the Madonna and Child. The sunshine sparkles, there's a little glade and a little lake. There's philosophy, people sitting round talking about politics, books, music. I want to stay and dream." Sounds lovely. But for the same people, envisaging the medieval world meant that things quickly turned sour. There are soldiers, peasants, high castles, muddy lowlands. Black death and plague are all around. It's raining. People are drunk on mead and fighting among themselves. The artists are not respected. I'm in a dungeon wearing a potato sack, and it's night. It's cold. There are rats. The windows have bars at floor level. I stole some potatoes for your newborn child. It is a stereotype heard often, that from roughly the years 300 to 1500, most people inhabited a time oscillating between Braveheart and Blackadder, a world of generalized misery and ignorance, living in piteous squalor only to make war in the fretful darkness, a useless millennium or so. For at least one of the visitors surveyed by the museum, this popular view has even gone so far as to warp their historical placement of people and things. The potatoes they envisage stealing, presumably not fluffy, plump roasties, but hard and cold and raw, would in fact only have reached Europe from the Americas in the 1570s, well after the darkness of this supposedly dark age is meant to have lifted. Who or what is to blame for this picture is not entirely clear. In some ways, doing down the past seems a natural reflection of how we wish to see life in the present. To appear enlightened and modern, we need a dark and ignorant past to set ourselves starkly against. Pop culture has definitely taken this up with force in the romanticized figure of a Disney princess cruelly trapped in her ye-old castle, or the bleak violence of nipple-strewn TV dramas like Game of Thrones. It is no coincidence that in Quentin Tarantino's 1994 cult hit Pulp Fiction, when Ving Rhames' character Marcellus is poised to take gory revenge on a man who has held him hostage, he bitingly tells his hapless prey, "I'm gonna get medieval on your ass." The era is evoked at once as a historical fantasy and a vicious threat. Looking back through history, this sense of a nasty medievalism is encountered pretty regularly. In the 19th century, the idea of a gruesome Middle Ages was a particularly potent fascination for the Victorians, who happily distorted the past to suit their flamboyant taste for the neo-Gothic and the macabre. The idea goes back further still, present in the writing of thinkers during the Enlightenment. In the 1580s, trashing the medieval was so widely accepted that the English antiquarian William Camden felt he could skip disparagingly over the entire period when writing his comprehensive grand history of Britain, offering little more than a paragraph or two. "I will," he says, "only give you a taste of the Middle Age, which was so o'ercast with dark clouds, or rather thick fogs of ignorance." Rather touchingly, medieval thinkers themselves seem to have been the first to conceptualize their age as having a certain middleness to it, stuck between two brighter, more exciting points of history. The Italian author Francesco Petrarca wrote with a mixture of longing and optimistic excitement about a shift of cultural values that he was observing around him in Italy during the 14th century, and which he hoped might drag the medieval world forward in its wake. There was a more fortunate age, and probably there will be one again. In the middle, in our time, you see the confluence of wretches and ignominy. My fate is to live among varied and confusing storms. But for you, perhaps, if, as I hope and wish, you will live long after me, there will follow a better age. When the darkness has been dispersed, our descendants can come again into the former pure radiance. Whenever it originated, this view of the medieval period is unquestionably distorted. Revealing the realities of the Middle Ages from this warped impression has been part of my work for more than a decade, and is at the very heart of this book. We cannot patronize this seemingly distant moment in time simply to make us